Hi, everyone. Really excited to have you here, and thank you so much for joining us. Let me introduce myself. My name is Malak, and I'm part of the Nookly team. On behalf of the entire team, we're so glad to have you, whether you're joining us live or you're watching the recording later. And I'm really excited to introduce our host, Amy. Amy is the amazing founder of Blooming Brains, and she works at the intersection of neuroscience, of education, of psychology. Amy's amazing, and I'm really excited to have her today as our host. And she's going to be walking us through a really good practical session on how to use AI, spot strengths for children, and also do all the amazing things you can do with Nookly. So Amy, without further ado, I'll let you
Awesome.
dive in and pass on the mic to you. Welcome, Amy.
Wow. I have to say thank you, Malak. I feel so excited to be. I want you to follow me around everywhere and introduce me like that. That would
Thank
be
you.
great. Woohoo! Well, thank you so much. Let me go ahead and get my slides up on the screen for everyone and share with everyone what I've got ready for you. So, thank you so much for joining today. Malak and I are both so excited to be here and to be spending time with you. And I am excited to share with you some of my thoughts and ideas around ways that we can use AI, particularly some of our tools within Nookly to help us empower children. And that's something you're going to hear me say a lot of today, is empowering children. That is really a key cornerstone of why I founded my private practice. It's about being neurodiversity affirming, really making sure that children feel uplifted within who they are at these times that they need it the most. And that's really where we can come into play as professionals. And I'm going to tap into some of that here in a moment. All right, you heard a little bit about us, so I just have to show you because this slide is so stinking cute, but we'll go ahead and skip over it. Thank you again for being here with us today. Okay, so by the end of today, I really would love for everybody to walk away with a few really main takeaways. The first, and probably one of the most important, is the reminder that AI does not replace the work that we do with children every day. I know that as it continues to grow, I was doing another presentation. I was just telling Malak a couple weeks ago about AI, and we were referring to it as the Wild West, right? AI just grows and it continues to evolve and change, and it's awesome and also terrifying. It's all the things. And we have these thoughts, I know, as people working directly with children and families, is am I going to be needed always, right? These tools are so amazing. I firmly believe that we will. We are necessary and needed in our fields, and we can use and tap into AI to enhance what we do, to make it even more efficient, to make it even more exciting than maybe we would do independently, but not at all to replace us, just to enhance us. And that's truly the lens that I'm coming from with our conversation today, is how do we use these tools to help us create things that are truly going to uplift the kids that we work with. Of course, number two is very similar. AI is a partner. It's working with us. But I also want to remind everyone that AI is only as powerful as we know how to use it, right? So that's why webinars like this are so helpful and fun, because I might have an idea to share today that maybe you haven't thought of. And so it's a way that you can now start to use these things that maybe you wouldn't have before. And I want to learn and grow too, just the same way. So I hope I can kind of start that thinking on your end, and I can also learn from all of you as well. And after today, another very important thing that I want you to walk away with is really knowing multiple ways that we can use these tools to truly be neurodiversity affirming. And just to kind of get us all on the same page with that language, what does neurodiversity affirming really mean? It's kind of a buzz phrase right now, especially if you're on social media or you're accessing education in general. When I think about that phrase, to me, it means that I am working as a professional to make that person, child, parent, whomever I'm working with, truly feel uplifted for who they are. I am affirming their brain. I am affirming their beliefs, their interests, what makes them unique. And the fact that they are unique, the fact that their brain works differently than mine or yours, makes them that much more beautiful in the world. We need that change. We need those differences for our community to continue to grow. So that is really where I'm coming from, and how can we use these tools just to make that even stronger? I can't wait to share. As I go through this next few minutes, I am already prepared for our time to fly by, but in these next few minutes, I am going to refer to a case study. Now, I do want to let everyone know that the facts are based on a student that I did work with. The name is a pseudonym. So, of course, just to protect her privacy, I'm not using her real name, but a lot of the facts, most of the facts, are very accurate. And that was important to me to share because I want to be able to tell you not just some ideas about using these things, but things that have actually worked for me in my practice working with kids and were received well by the kids and their families and their school team. That's the coolest part about this whole story is it landed with everyone. And I think that's really important. So as we go through these next few minutes, the student that I'm going to be talking about is Ingrid, and she is in fourth grade. She was struggling at the time that I met her with some self-regulation skills. So being able to keep her hands to herself, to not necessarily act impulsively. So she did a lot of blurting out in class. There were some overall academic challenges in nearly all of the academic areas. It was something that all the teachers were noticing, parent was noticing, she was noticing. In fact, she was starting to feel very defeated by the academic challenges. And so that's something to remember as well. And lying underneath all of this was really this overall executive functioning weakness for Ingrid. And that, for those of you that are not as familiar with executive functioning skills, those are the skills that help us accomplish tasks day to day. So things like planning, things like initiating, starting something when we need to, prioritizing. Those are all of our executive functioning skills, and they really help us get everything done. So Ingrid, she was trying her best. She was working hard. She had a lot of things that were making school a challenging place. And so I used some of these strategies and tools I'm going to share with you to try to help make things a little bit easier. Now, also to be fully transparent, I did a full psychoeducational assessment on Ingrid, and that is where I started working with her. And then I ended up using some of these tools at the end. So I had the luxury of learning all about how her amazing brain worked. I got to learn about her strengths, her weaknesses, and I used that information to drive what tools and things I created that I'm going to show you today. But before we really dive into that, I've already highlighted a little bit about tying into strengths, right? Tying into interests, how valuable that is when we are being neurodiversity affirming. And I also kind of let you know that I did that with Ingrid. So I tapped into her strengths. I got to learn about the things that her brain does really well. But also, please, please take the time to just ask what kids like. What are they interested in? What do they like? It seems like such a small question, but at the end of whatever you're doing with kids, it lands so strongly. Whether you're a teacher, you're a social worker, you're a therapist, you're a psychologist, you're a parent, just knowing what kids like goes a long way. How do we figure that out? You could do a few things. You could watch. I have a lot of different fun things in my office, different types of games and fun, popular characters. I learn lots about what's cool nowadays, but keeping up with all of that, watch what they gravitate to. Maybe they prefer to color over using a fidget, and so that's an interest. Just watch. But also, kids want to tell you. They want to tell you what they like. They want to tell you what makes them happy. They want to tell you what they love. What's their favorite TV show, their favorite game, their favorite snack, whatever it is. It goes a long way to take this time to learn for a couple of reasons. One, it shows that child and that person that you care about what they like. And that even if you're working on something that's very hard, whether it's reading that's hard, or in Ingrid's case, regulating her body, organizing herself, that's school all day. So school is hard. But if that teacher or me as the psychologist or parent comes in and really tries to say, hey, Ingrid, I know it's hard to manage your body. Tell me something that's easy. Tell me something you love. And I gotta tell you, she loved her dog. She talked about her dog all the time. She loved her dog. Every time she saw me, she told stories about her dog. So you better believe I was making a note that she loved her dog. And again, seems so tiny, but we're going to get in our conversation here about really the value that that can have in intervening and supporting is just taking the time, notice, ask, and then bring it back in when you can. So for Ingrid's case, she loved her dog. A lot of kids right now that I'm working with, we've got some popular themes. Everyone loves a good Roblox game. People are also very excited right now that it is going into the fall season. So a lot of people are talking about maybe holidays they're going to celebrate, or they love the weather. It can be anything. That's what I want to impress with you. Just lean in to an interest, and that's going to go a long way. Why do we need to do this? I've already kind of let you know it makes someone feel heard, and that is very important. But it also does a lot of other things. When you're taking the time to truly highlight strengths and interests, we can really tap into helping that child know what to expect from us. Yes, school is hard. Yes, routine can be challenging, but hey, I'm someone you can trust. I care about the little things that you have going on. I care about your dog and how your dog is doing. And if you're taking your dog trick-or-treating this year, that's the most exciting thing you're going to tell me all day, right? I one time went to a training and the trainer was saying, and this has stuck with me forever, when we are with kids, they should feel like the most important person in the world. All of our energy should be going toward hyping them up, making them feel like everything they say is exciting and happy and the coolest thing we've ever heard. Even if the 7 kids before this kid also told me about Roblox, that does not matter. What matters is that this kid right now is telling me about Roblox, and that is the coolest thing I've ever heard about Roblox, right? It is just making them feel valued. Because the reality is, by the time a psychologist like myself gets involved, there are other challenges going on. And I can guarantee you that child feels those things. They know it's hard. They know other people know it's hard. They know they don't get as good of a grade. All of those pieces, I don't want that in my room, right? I want you to feel very important and excited. So that really is going to help build their confidence and also make them less worried about coming into a new space, talking to a new person, greeting a new face. Now, I say this from the luxury of not being with a student the entire day, and I'm aware of that. Our teachers and our educators that are leading classes all day, wow, power to you. What an incredibly important job. And you have a different set of challenges than someone like a psychologist would have, and that's absolutely fair and valid. There are still ways to incorporate strengths, of course. They just might look a little bit different. I have to say, though, as a psych, I used to work in the school system, and I was a school psych at multiple sites. And I loved when I would go into a classroom and kids would ask to go with me. I felt like that was a win. Like I made my room that exciting and calming that they wanted to come be in my space instead of, oh, who's this lady? Why is she taking me out of class? This is scary, right? But you have to work to create that confidence building, that calm space. And there's a lot of ways we can make sure to do that. Another way that we can really uplift students in our work is to collaborate, work with each other. I've had the luxury of working within the school system, and now I don't. I work outside of the school system. But because I did, I know very much the value in collaborating with teachers and with administrators, and also with parents and families. The best conversations I have are the ones where we're all there together. It's me as an outside person, it's parent or family member, hopefully the student too, if they're able, and it's a school representative or multiple school representatives. It's a truly collaborative experience because then we get to share all these amazing things about this kid that maybe no one had a chance to notice or learn, and we can really work together. And I'm going to show you here in just a couple of seconds, I promise, about how you can share the things that you create with these other individuals. We can share what we make. We can share our different social stories, visual schedules, whatever awesome thing you're going to make with using AI as a partner. We can directly give that to school staff, to parents, to families, to the student. That's where the beauty falls. That's where we can really make the biggest impact possible because we've got everybody working together on the same team. And then my last quick point here before I go into really showing you all of these cool things is this phrase that means a lot to me: connection over compliance. Now, that is a great buzz phrase, and it's a name of a book I think I even have on my shelf. But it really means a lot more than just a fancy phrase. When we focus on connecting, we focus on learning about a kid's favorite color, favorite game, what makes them special and unique. We're focusing on building a relationship with them over just having this ultimate goal of changing them or making them do what we want. That's not the goal. The goal is not to change anyone or to make them do anything. A lot of times within our fields, we hear the word compliant or compliance a lot. And I cringe when I hear that word because making someone compliant should not be the end game. We should be empowering them. We should be helping them advocate for themselves. We don't want to create all these people that just do everything that they're told, right? We want to create people that know what they need, that know what they're good at, that know how to advocate for themselves, and of course, be wonderful, productive members of the community as well. So prioritize that connection. Honestly, if your ultimate goal really is compliance, you're going to get a lot more of that if you connect with the child. So it really serves itself. And following these strategies of understanding interests, getting to work as a collaborative team, talking to the student, asking them fun questions, that's how you can accomplish that. So back to Ingrid. You've heard all my theory about why I'm doing all these things with Ingrid. Let's talk a little bit about her. So you heard about her. She's a 4th grade student. She had some challenges managing her body. She had some challenges regulating her emotions. One other thing I should share with you about Ingrid is through my assessment with Ingrid, we also discovered that she has an autistic profile. So her family was very excited to learn that. They felt like they had some answers about kind of how she navigates the world around her. And that was huge as I went into, okay, cool, I learned all these things about her. Now what do I do? So I thought to myself, okay, what is something that we need to target immediately? And it was really regulating her emotions. That was one of the biggest concerns that we found at school and at home. Everyone was saying, we love Ingrid. Ingrid is amazing, but wow, that is a hard way. Like, we don't know how to support her in this way. We don't know how to help her regulate her emotions and feelings. And so I'm actually going to share a different screen with you now to show you how I chose how to help her in terms of using AI and kind of what it ended up looking like. So let me go ahead and share a new screen with you all. Okay, perfect. Here we go. Malak, does that look okay on your end? You can see the Nookly homepage?
Yes.
Beautiful. Okay, so I logged into my Nookly account, and I have to say, look at all the cool things you can make, but don't worry, because how did I figure out what to do? Well, if I was looking at this screen and I knew a child, I had a child in mind, I would want to know coming in, kind of like I just addressed with you right now, what's my biggest thing I want to do, right? What's my biggest challenge I want to hurdle? What is my one goal in the beginning? And like I mentioned for Ingrid, it was truly navigating those emotional regulation skills that came up across the board. Now, to be very honest with you, when I made this, there were not as many cool, exciting things to do on Nookly. A lot of this is very newly developed, which is extremely exciting. I cannot wait to dive in more. But there were several of these options available to me, and I ended up choosing a social story. So for those of you that are maybe unfamiliar with what a social story is, it is an intervention that is oftentimes used with children on the spectrum to help teach new skills. Now, it is not only reserved for autistic children. I want to be clear about that. But there's a lot of research connecting how social stories are incredibly impactful for an autistic learner. So just keep that in mind. That is one of the reasons why I went with a social story. We learned about Ingrid. We figured out that she has an autistic profile. So let's lean into that and let's lead into the research and let's really try to tackle that. So all I did was I clicked on social story. I went through the prompts, and the prompts are very self-explanatory. They ask you who your student is, right? You're going to type the student's name in. And they ask what you want to work on. So when it said enter a topic, I just said emotional regulation skills for an autistic student. I started off a little bit vague, right? Because I wanted to see what happened and what I could work with. Keep in mind, as you are using this tool and you're working through, and there's a lot more walkthroughs. I know Malak has access to different walkthrough tools, so I don't want to take you step by step, but you have the ability to go back and edit and make changes. So wherever you start, that doesn't have to be where this ends, right? You can make it how you want to make it. And that's where I want to tie in. I leaned heavily on the love of her dog. And so I wanted her dog to be in this social story. And by gosh, I got him in there because I wanted her to feel connected and feel like when she's reading this book, not only is it about a student named Ingrid, which already resonates with her, but it has things in it that actually matter to her. So she can feel like this is more relatable. And I'm actually going to go through and now show you what the finished story looked like. And here is where it goes. So this is the beginning. It showed little Ingrid, and I got to design her. So you can really choose how the student looks, a lot of personal traits. But the thing I have to tell you, and keep in mind, this is again, a pseudonym story. So my actual story for this student is not this exact story because I wanted to keep that private. When I did that one, you have an option of putting in a picture. And I did. Her mom had sent me a picture of her doing something very cute at an activity. And so I put that in. And I had Nookly create a character that looked just like her. And it was awesome. And she loved it because it looked like her. So it connected more and it landed. But this is what I ended up with for this example. You know, the story talks about how she feels different emotions, and then it provides different things to do with your feelings. It's okay to have many different feelings. Here's one example. I can take a deep breath to calm down. And here's the moneymaker page. I can sit with my dog if I need help with my feelings. This is such a tiny thing in the big scheme of life, right? This is what, 10 or 12 words on a page with 2 pictures. This page and sharing this with the school team, we sat in a meeting to talk about this. The mom cried, tears of understanding. All the teachers asked me, "How did you make this? This is so cool. I want to do this for all of my students." But at the end of it, Ingrid is the one who looked and said, "That's me. I want to do this." And that was worth every second it took to prepare any of this stuff. And honestly, this part doesn't take long at all. If anyone watching this also does evaluations of any kind, you know that those take quite a bit of time. And I'm doing all that work, and yes, it's a lot of energy, but that moment of her looking at me saying, "That's me. I want to do that." That was it, right? That was everything. In fact, the mom sent me an email after this meeting and said that she had been working with her county program for 3 years and she had never received anything this helpful. And that this was so incredible for her as a mom to be able to have something tangible, because you can print this out, you can email it to folks. When you click on expand story, you can see it how the student is seeing it, right? The child can see it. You can also, I'll just go back here. You can click on share right here, and you can share it with whomever you'd like. You can share it with the parent. You can share it with the teacher. You can share it with anyone who might find this useful. And I have to say, that was really the icing on the cupcake. We did all this work together. We got to know Ingrid. I came up with a plan to support her, all of it. And then really bringing everybody together. was really where the magic happened. So this is just a way, and this is one quick, tiny example of how I'm using what I know about how to help the brain learn, how to be neurodiversity affirming, all of that, and really using AI as a partner in this. I'm going to go back to my slides real quick for us here. So hang in there while I unshare and reshare again, just to kind of bring us back home. I know we're getting right to the end, which is very sad. I knew this time would fly. But here we go. Okay, so that's how I tied things together for Ingrid. I know we don't necessarily have time to answer this question, but maybe just a thought that you can carry with you today for the rest of your day. How will you uplift strengths with your own students? And the answer does not have to be, I'm going to use all these new tools and do fancy things. I want you to carry with you that any small thing you can do using AI, using just a game in your office, right? All of that goes so far. And it matters. It matters to that child, it matters to that family, and it matters to everyone working to support that student. Man, we finished in the nick of time. It is in my time zone, it's 9:57, so I've got 3 minutes left. I do want to just give a couple of minutes if the Q&A is available for folks. If you do have any pressing questions, please ask. Otherwise, I just really, really appreciate everyone's time today. This has been so fun. And thank you for letting me sit on my soapbox here for a minute and talk about how important kids are. But as we all know, the work that everyone here does is incredibly influential for everyone's communities. And you probably don't hear that enough. So I want to make sure that you hear it today. The work you do matters and what you do matters. So thank you. Thank you. I am going to officially stop talking and unshare my screen in case anyone has questions, but I appreciate everyone's time.
That was amazing. I really love the story about Ingrid. Wow. Like that idea or like that image of everyone crying in the meeting room over the
It
dog.
was so magical. And I go to all kinds of meetings where people are crying for other reasons. And it was a really therapeutic, beautiful, collaborative moment. It was really special. And I will honestly, as a professional, I will never forget it. And it also reiterated to me the importance of what we do.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's amazing. I don't see any questions in the Q&A box,
Awesome.
but also if anyone watching now or in the recording later, if you have any questions, let me know. I'll forward them right to Amy. Okay, we
Yes.
got one question from Joy, I think. Uh, Maybe you want to add it in the Q&A section, or feel free to send it to me over email. I'll forward it to Amy, and we're always more than happy to answer any questions and to also show you around Nookly and what it can do, because as Amy mentioned, like there's so many amazing things that you could do and you could support your child with. So thank you guys all so much for your time. Amy, a huge thank you from the Nookly team.
Of
We were
course.
so excited to have you.
How fun. What a fun morning. I appreciate everyone's time.
Of course. See you all. And yeah, looking forward to hearing your feedback as well. See
Bye,
you.
everybody. Thanks for coming.
Bye.